Twice now, people have invited Jesus over for a dinner party. Last time he shamed the guests for treating others poorly. Now he's telling this crowd to be way more humble. So now I'm wondering why people keep inviting Jesus to dinner parties. Let's tackle Luke 14, verses 1, 7 to 14, the gospel passage for proper 17C. Now, this passage from Luke 14 comes after some really challenging teaching about property and community. And then, in the previous chapter, as we dealt with last week, Jesus heals a woman on the Sabbath. The politics of that moment are kind of familiar to us, in the way that we are all at least somewhat familiar with how political situations work now. Some people see enforcing rules as their place in community, right? They are the protectors of order, and here comes Jesus messing with those rules. But Jesus doesn't reject the rules, he's making them actually work. This week, the verses which the lectionary skips over, those are verses 2 through 6, involve another public healing on the Sabbath. It says that they were watching him closely, which we should pay attention to. And then on his way to this dinner, Jesus sees a man with dropsy, which is some sort of condition about water accumulation, but that's really not the point of the story. Jesus asks if it's lawful to heal on the Sabbath, which he just did a minute ago. And all these experts say nothing, right? Here was their opportunity to object, and they don't. This happens on the way into dinner. The people who are there see this or hear about it. So it's in the air. Then when Jesus walks in, it says that Jesus noticed how the guests chose the places of honor, which prompts him to tell a parable about not taking places of honor. The problem here is so heavily implied that it borders on plain. Right? Jesus sees people claiming the seats of honor, and then he appeals to their better nature by suggesting that, of course, they would feel great shame if the host was forced to ask them to move. And similarly, of course, they wouldn't want to shame the host in such a way, right? This parable that Jesus is offering this elite dinner party is based on the idea that none of these people should think like elitists. And as readers, we're being confronted with the nature of Jesus' confrontation with the powerful, that Jesus totally does know what he's doing. He has the moral authority to demand these things, and that he's genuinely trying to teach them. And yet, at the same time, his teaching falls on deaf ears precisely because they have an entirely different moral compass. He's teaching them as if they weren't elitists, but they totally are. We often treat teachers like they are helping mold unformed opinions, but Jesus is always encountering people with fully formed opinions. Opinions which almost always run in the opposite direction on the things he cares about most. So here he is, trying to get the elites to think humbly and the powerful to share with the powerless. A message that has incredible purchase with the masses who are powerless, and not so much with the few elites who have all the power. So the people outside that room would eat it up, but the people inside are the ones who need to hear it. Now, the most obvious response we have to this passage is that Jesus is giving us direct guidance about kingdom priorities. Stop jockeying for power. Invite people to your parties who can't return the favor. As a teaching, I think we mistake the beauty of this for the utility. And then we end up missing how beautiful and practical a response that actually is. Now, Jesus is not offering a prohibition on inviting the wealthy to dinner parties, nor is it about our throwing parties for people who can't throw parties themselves, though both of these elements are true to the teaching. Instead, think about the genius of ensuring diversity. Certain people have no shortage of chances at the microphone or opportunities to glad hand with public figures. But figuring out who doesn't get those opportunities and make it so they can is totally good form. I think we also are prone to oversell conflict in our own lives and catalog it all as bad. And I'm saying this as someone who hates conflict. Jesus observes a man in pain. He observes their refusal to even acknowledge an injustice. Jesus confronts this injustice. He gives the elites a chance to object. He teaches them not to seek power, and he gives them a chance to change their behavior. For a lot of us, we watch people of faith imitate Jesus in this exact way, and we don't like it. Sometimes because their vision of injustice oppresses and condemns beloved children of God. And sometimes because their appeal to justice offends us because we feel confronted. Or their words make us confront ourselves. But when we're the ones on the inside of a big dinner party and someone invites us to be more humble about our own awesomeness, bring more people in, and do this without getting anything in return, maybe we're the ones being helped by Jesus. Thanks for watching. Now go out and love. If you want to keep up with the latest problem in the text, hit the subscribe button below and click the bell if you do notifications, if that's your jam. And check out my website, drewdowns.net. The link is below for Bible-y stuff, sermon prep, and all the stuff at the intersection of culture and faith. I will do my best to make it worth your while. See ya. We're done now. Have fun.